All right.
Hey,
Hello.
how are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Are you good? Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, awesome. Yeah, I'm very good. How about you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to be a guest on our show, man.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure. It's an honor.
Cool. All right. Let's not waste time. Let's get it started.
All right.
Um, First of all, we're gonna be talking about your art. We're gonna be talking about a whole lot of work that you do.
All right.
And I'm sure you have some pieces there that you're gonna show us so that we can see exactly how talented you are. Please introduce yourself so that everyone that is watching can understand who they're talking to.
All right. Okay, so so I'm Sethu Menye. I am 20 years old. I'm a student at the University of the Free State and currently studying bachelor's or doing my second year in the Bachelor's of Fine Arts at the university.
All right.
Yes, sir.
We are pleased to Sethu. We are pleased to have you on the show. My name is Ivan Paman. I'm gonna be conducting this interview. I'm gonna be asking you a whole lot of questions. Um, which is one of the questions that I need to kick off first is, have you always wanted to be an artist?
First, not really. Like, funny enough, it was kind of like that talent which I had, but I didn't necessarily thought of it like as something I'd take seriously until like 2 years ago or so, where like really started to develop and everything. Then I thought, okay, maybe let me try this. Let me see how far it can take me.
All right, okay. What is the best thing about being an artist?
Freedom. I feel like, yeah, freedom is the best thing so far. Just to freedom of like speech, freedom to express yourself, freedom to really do what you want and try and affect other people the best way you can.
All right, out of everything about art,
Mm.
what would you say the overall thing that is best about being involved with art? What would you take out of it? Looking at the overall art as a whole genre, if I would call it a genre, but it's not a genre, as a whole artistic element, what can you take from it?
Okay, so like I'd say the first one, the biggest one, which I find most important is this network, this a community of artists. Like the first thing is like there's this whole community of artists that come
Mhm.
together, that we support one another, we push one another, we stand as like a front to show, okay, there are different forms of art, whether it's drawing, painting, music, acting, all of that, and that we tend to
Mhm.
try and support one another and stay as a community. And then second thing I'd say is discipline. In the sense of commitment.
Mhm.
You must be disciplined in like willing to stand for what you stand for and to really push yourself over some time. You really need to push yourself and say, okay, I need to develop in this, I need to push in that, whether it be painting, drawing, singing, whatever art form is suited for you.
All right, okay, that's great. And then you've mentioned that art as an overall, it has different wings. Which
Mm.
one do you fall under?
Okay, so it's fun. It's got like different wings, like different divisions, more even different divisions. But so far, I'd say I'm a visual artist, so I do a lot of work that people can see, and that's either
Mhm.
drawings, paintings, sculptures, what else? Performance art. So mainly those four, but like they all fall under like visual art.
All right. All
Yes.
right. Okay, how much time do you spend on your piece of art that you'd be working on a particular time? How much time do you spend on one piece?
Okay, it varies, but like more or less a day or two, like for it to really, for the quality, for it to be like really good and for people to really like it, I'd say around a day or two minimum. So yeah, it's a
All
lot.
right. Does it get lonely if you are working on a certain pace? Do you feel like, you know what, I need to be on my own space, I need to be alone so that my mind can be focused on this? Does it get lonely?
Yes, it does, especially if you do things like outside of like school, if you like do, if like perhaps when I make my own personal art, it gets lonely, but like I prefer it that way because distractions and such really, really, yeah, they mess with my art a bit. So like when I'm really by myself, if I'm in my own space, play my own music, just there in that zone, perhaps, then yeah. So
All
yeah,
right, okay.
good.
What mo- what motivates you during your art? Do you listen to music or do you have something that you do to get motivated when you're working on a piece?
Okay, first thing I would say it's different factors, but mainly like stuff that I see. So if I'm walking around town, then I see people doing something, then I'm intrigued by that. Or if I just see something visually stimulating or something that's really out of the blue, then I say, okay, yeah, that's my biggest influence. But also music as well, or hearing people's stories per se, really helps me to like find something to focus on and create an artwork around.
All right, okay. Do you ever get worried about working with paint being toxic? For instance, when you're doing painting with paint.
And yeah, so yeah, at first I was worried, but like this painting at the back, it's a oil painting that I did a few weeks ago. I don't know if everyone
Okay.
can see it.
Oh yes, 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 yes.
So then it was a painting, oil painting specifically I did a few weeks ago, and um our lecturers have taught us how to handle oil paints. Like you must work with the mask on, you must try and make sure if it gets onto you, wash it as quick as possible. It's not that deadly, but like if you're exposed to it for a long time, it can really mess with like your skin or your lungs. But luckily, there are also other paints which are much, much safer that we can use as an alternative.
All right, okay.
Mm.
Is there a challenge to title your paintings? How do you come with the title of a piece of art that you've just made? What draws you into naming it a certain name, if you
Uh,
do that?
okay, I think it depends on what inspired me first. So I look at what inspires me, I create the artwork, then I do some like self-reflection and think, okay, what inspired me? What would make the most sense when it comes to the name of the artwork specifically? So it's mainly what first inspired me. I usually name it after that.
All right, that's great. And what advice would you give to a younger you? For instance, if you have to look back, if you have to look back, or you have someone who there's this person who's studying art
Mm.
and they need advices, what type of advices would you give?
Okay, first thing I would say, okay, to my younger self specifically, I'd be like, be more patient. Even like to other artists, be more patient. Take your time, especially when you are developing that specific type of art you want to like really master or really excel in it. Like, be patient. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of hours. People don't see the work behind it, the frustration of that. So it's patience. And then the second thing is, yeah, also hard work. Just really, like, I feel like it's a cliche, but yeah, hard work,
Mhm.
just really, if you just really grind it out, talk to people, connect, communicate, all of that, show, expose yourself to other people, and then, yeah, you will really improve yourself.
Okay, that's great. Your family, your siblings, do they like art?
Yes, very much. They criticize my work as well, but it's
Which is good. Criticism is good because people grow from that.
that's
Am I
true.
correct?
That is 100% true.
All right, okay. Do
Mm.
you have any work that you have exhibited or anywhere where people that wants to look at what you have done can go?
All right. Okay, so Currently, due to the whole COVID thing, there would have been work of mine at the University of the Free State. We have an art gallery called the Stigman Gallery, but at this current moment, most of my work is online on my Instagram. The Instagram handle is three underscores, like underscore, 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 then say two. Then that's where people will be able to see most of my art at this current moment.
All right, okay.
Mm.
And how does living in Bloemfontein impact your art? Does Bloemfontein comes in as an inspiration for you?
Um, so Bloemfontein, yeah, Bloemfontein is actually a strong influence per se because its art community is like quite strong. It might not be as big as like maybe Joburg or Cape Town, but it's a really strong art community. We talk to each other a lot. People give each other like information, support per se, and also spots where you can find inspiration. Like if you go to like certain landmarks, like maybe Naval Hill per se. So like in terms of inspiration, there's a lot of inspiration around the people, the places, and the culture around Bloom. But it's just the terms of like size compared to like other cities per se, isn't our art community isn't so big.
All right, okay.
Mm.
And what is the hardest thing? What is the hardest thing about creating a painting? The most challenging aspect of painting?
Ooh, I'd say yeah, the patience. Yeah, the patience really gets to you because you see something in your head and you want to put it on a canvas or something, but then you need to be patient enough to say, okay, no, let me start with this, let me add more layers. It's probably gonna take a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks even. And yeah, so like it's that patience of wanting to get where you want to get, but yeah, it takes time.
All right, okay. Do you have any regrets? For instance, a piece of art that you have done when you look at it and say, you know what, I regret that I've done that. I should have changed it to this.
Um, Not really. Maybe like the first few hours after I create an artwork, then I say, okay, maybe I don't like this, or maybe I don't like that, especially when I have to like submit it. But in the long run, I don't really have the regrets because they kind of come in as lessons. Like I see something I didn't like in the previous work, then I say, okay, sharp, I must learn from that. I will improve in that for the next one. Then it's improvement.
All right, okay. And how do you know when you are painting or drawing, how do you know that this is done, I'm happy with it? At what point do you feel like I'm happy with this, this is done?
Funny enough, my lecturers say a painting is never done. So doesn't matter what painting you've ever seen in your life, according to them, a painting is never done. But I think personally, it depends on the artist. If I personally feel like I'm satisfied with how it looks like, I will say, fine, it's finished. But there are definitely points where I could fix, or maybe points where I could add, etc.
All right. Do you have any inspirational artists that you look up to? People that when you look at their work and you say, you know what, I'm inspired. I want to be at that level of an artist.
All right. Currently, okay, so like I get a lot of inspiration from like lots of different things. And there's like three specific names which I have in mind. So like the first one is Dr. Willem Boshoff. He's one of the greatest like South African land artists specifically, and he also works at the University of the Free State as like a guest lecturer and a person who really helps to fund the department. Like his work is really, really like I really love it. Then a second inspiration is one of our younger artists, a lady by the name of Karabo Poppy, if I didn't pronounce the name correctly. But nevertheless, she's a really big, like she's almost like a designer perhaps, and she's done big collaborations, especially with like Nike on their shoe line and shoes. She's had shoes worn even by big artists like not artists, but like big athletes like LeBron James, for example. So she's a really big inspiration, especially for to see someone who's young do well. Then the last one is a Japanese artist by the name of Oda. Is it's Ichira Oda. So it's like he's a mangaka, so that basically means he makes Japanese cartoon, not cartoons, but Japanese comics. It's a specific style which I really find interesting.
All right, okay. Talking about those artists that are doing comics,
Mm,
would you say there's a difference between, because I know that you are very attached to Japanese
type of art.
cartoon. Yeah, no, no, not cartoon.
Yeah.
I don't want to say cartoon. I don't want to use the term cartoons.
Oh,
Is it manga?
yes, the
Yeah, anime.
yeah, anime is like the animated version, then manga is like the paper comic type of version of it.
Oh yes, 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 I see.
Mm,
Is there a difference between the Japanese type of art and the rest of the world? If you look, for instance, the artists that are drawing for Marvel
mm.
and the artists that are drawing for Japanese, is there a difference? Are you able to pick up any difference from those type of artists?
Yes, there's like currently in like the artist or like the comic world, there are two distinctive type of styles that there are. There's like the, as you said, the Marvel, the more like American based type of cartoons, not necessarily cartoons, but like comics per se, which are really, a lot of them are in color and they're like really, they try and be, how's that, realistic in a way in terms of like how the people look, how they create a story and per se. Whereas in manga or like the Japanese type of style, they usually like working a lot in black and white. That's like the first thing you see. Like you won't really find a lot of like works which are in color. And then they have a specific style. Like there's this, it's flat, but they add different types of lines, the different lines that they use, the different shapes of like their faces or like how the bodies look like, which really create a difference between like, as I would say, maybe like the Western type of art and then the like the Eastern, more Asian type of comic style.
All right. I remember seeing the sculpture of yourself that you did. And if I remember correctly, I stand to be corrected. It was bought by a hotel.
It by what's this thing? It's a property. What's the name of this? It's like a property.
But it was bought by an organization.
Yes, thank you. Yes, yeah.
How difficult was it to create a piece of an art based on your face?
Um, extremely difficult. You're extremely difficult. Like, luckily, my lecturer at the time, Mrs. Dina Hobler, she really helped show like shortcuts in a say on like how to see where does your face or where does your nose go, where do your eyes go, where specific parts of your face go, especially since we also had to use a mirror and we had to measure and see where goes what and how does it all look together per se. So it was very tough.
All right, but it came out nice. I liked it. It was very beautiful.
Thank you very
All
much.
right. My other question would be, what is the difference between sketching with a pencil? What
Okay.
are the challenges between sketching with a pencil
Mm.
and doing a painting with a paint?
Okay. Okay, so like the first thing I'd say with pencil, you really work in a black and white type of um, setting. So you know definitely your picture is gonna be black, gray, and white, and you've got different shades of such. Then the toughest part in that is just trying to get the right different marks because your eyes might see one thing, but then your hand draws something else. So you have to really try and create this combination where you can put down what you see properly. But with painting, painting is, in my opinion, much more difficult because there's a lot of color in it. There's much more diversity, like the different types of marks, the different types of brush strokes you can make. Even the different colors play a big influence to how your image or like how your painting is going to look like.
All right. Okay.
Mm.
Do you think art as a profession in South Africa, do you see it growing or do you see it being taken serious?
Yes, I do believe it is a very it's a difficult place to be, or it's like a difficult environment because there's so many artists and only so many can reach like the top. But in terms of like in general, for like people to like come in, for people to see different arts, for people to experience the art, to people to interact with the art as well. I think, yeah, in South Africa so far, we are heading in the right direction as it's growing, more galleries are being built, more initiatives are being made to get children specifically to get involved in the arts. And yeah,
All right. Do you have any offer that you've once turned down? For instance, when someone says, I need a picture like this drawn, or a picture of me like this drawn, and
mm,
then where you have to say, no, I cannot do this. Have you ever found yourself in that situation?
luckily not. I hope not to experience it because each person is different and brings on like a different challenge. So I really accept like any offer that comes my way, I really accept it. I try my best and I push. So I hope I never have to deny an offer or something.
All right.
Mm.
Okay. Thank you very much, Setu. I think all the questions that I had regarding you and art, I have asked you, unless if there's something that you want to say for the viewers that might be watching, if there's any message that you want to get out there regarding your profession or your work, you feel free to go.
Okay, nothing really much, but I just want to thank everyone who supported me so far, everyone who comments, everyone who likes, everyone who buys an artwork from me. I really appreciate it from like the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much. And yeah, I just tell the people support other artists, please. Like we've heard actors and those other people say support artists, but I mean it seriously. Like especially during this time of COVID, people need inspiration, people need work, people need to really help push with the country's economy. So I'd just say your local artists, your children, your neighbor's child, whoever who might be an artist, I would just reinforce the message of like, please try and support. We really appreciate it. Even a single like does a lot. So yeah,
Okay, thank you very much, man. It was great having you on the show. We
I
appreciate you, and we wish you all the best with your art, with your profession, and with the school as well. Keep
thank
the good work up.
thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Like this is a really big push. Like I've never had an interview like this before, so this is really wow.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Thank you. Same to you.